Hi, welcome to the Pursuit of Truth. So I was watching Louis Theroux's, I think it's called Forbidden America, Part 1. And he's talking to people, it was primarily 3 people. I can't remember what the name, one was Nick, was it Fenton's? One was Beardsley or something like that. And there was a lady as well. And they believe in America should be predominantly white people because they're worried about the identity of America going if they have too much immigration. Basically, they claim they weren't white nationalists or white supremacists, although a lot of the views and comments that they made seem to suggest that. I don't know whether they didn't seem to want to own that term, but then I guess like they were trying to sort of argue with Louis Theroux that how the mainstream, and I know the mainstream do this, they will categorise you, that have their own agenda. I'm surprised that they did an interview with Louis Theroux. Obviously, if you've seen Louis Theroux stuff, that's what he does. He finds these people and gives them a bit of a spotlight to expose themselves. I remember there was a good one he did when he went to South Africa. I can't remember what the guy's name was. And obviously the Jimmy Savile one. But he tends to be, the only thing with Louis Theroux is it's always difficult to know. It always, sometimes seems a bit awkward because you don't know which side he's on, because he tends to play, not devil's advocate, but he tends to blend in. He doesn't sort of attack too much. He tries to just let them expose themselves, and then he does it in the voiceover. But with this one, though, he did sort of make his points known. But I mean, I know there's lots of racists out there and lots of people who share these kinds of views that countries should be for white people only. I don't know where they get this idea from. Historically, people have moved around all over the place. Obviously, America had its own people before the West got there and murdered most of them and made them out to be bad people in Western movies, in the idea of cowboys and Indians. A lot of us grew up watching those movies, you know, playing those games in the playground of cowboys being the good people and Indians just wanting to rape and pillage, whereas that wasn't the case. We didn't know that. We were being told a lie in a childish form in a movie. You see, that's the danger of movies and the media, and also this illustrated the danger of social media, the freedom of it. Because what worried me was not that the people had these thoughts, because I know people have these thoughts, you know, racist, misogynistic, anti-Semitic, which were comments that were mentioned by these individuals, which were clearly those. You know, they may not say they're white supremacists or this, the other, but they definitely made racist, misogynistic, and anti-Semitic claims. I'll try and put a link, you can check for yourself. The more worrying thing was the amount of supporters they had. They were getting, you know, they were doing stage shows. One has his own TV network. He's been made a millionaire by donations that have been given to him. People will give him money to support him, them enough to make him a millionaire. These kinds of views. It's interesting. People who have these radical shock jock type of things make lots of money on YouTube and Facebook and things like this. People who are telling the truth or trying to want peace, they don't get any kind of views. It's a strange world that we live in. A bit of a worrying world, to be honest. But yeah, that was more the worrying thing, was just how much support he got. People, there was another one, that was Beardsley. He would go around the street and basically annoy people, play anti-Semitic songs, like he was playing a German march through the street. People would pay him to be insensitive, basically. But you see that a lot of them were young and they hid behind this idea of, oh, it's just irony, it's just comedy. But I feel like they were doing that old maxim of, you know, like many a truth told behind a smile. You know, it's easy, like if you want to offend someone, but you don't want to, you know, get the you know, the return of it. You make it a joke. introduce jokes to someone, oh, you're this, that, and the other, and they have to laugh, and but then they're left with that in a minute. Well, did you actually really mean that? So that's the sort of thing they're hiding behind. It's like they couldn't really own, for obvious reasons, that they were almost white nationalists, because that's what they believe. They believe in this idea of America being for the whites, even though the country started off as a non-white country. And anyway, we're all human beings. That's the thing. Like, they don't see this old ways, this archaic way of seeing things, of this possession and pride and all that kind of rubbish that causes all these problems. And the fact that the strange thing is they were, well, they claimed to be devout Christians. We saw no worshipping or anything like that. And obviously the words that they were saying don't match with what Christians follow. So I think Christians probably disown them, but they claimed to be Christians, and yet they were making anti-Semitic jokes. And do they not realize that Jesus was a man of color and he was Jewish? Christianity is basically an extension of the Jewish faith. It was Jesus, the Jew, who came to reform the Jews. I mean, it was St. Paul that moved it on to non-Gentiles, but the fact is that what would they do if they don't want immigration? They only want America for the whites. What are they going to do if Jesus does come back as an Israelite, as a Jewish man of color, and wants to come and meet these people who claim to be of his followers? They don't seem to realize that they've adopted a faith that is not American. They've got this idea, because they've been brought up in it, thinking it's American. It's not American. It's not American religion. Christianity is a religion from the Middle East. But if you put that, I'm surprised Louis Theroux didn't put that to them to see how they would respond to that, because it didn't match up with their racist, anti-Semitic views. But yeah, it was an interesting poem that Louis brought this attention. But yeah, it does worry you, the power of social media and the internet. That the Beardsley guy who was at the insurrection in January in the Capitol building in America, that they sort of said Trump initiated, but it probably was these types of people really that they can get flash mobs quickly by telling people, oh, there's going to be this, and then everyone turns up. So I mean, I don't know, it looked a lot of followers, a lot of people, in the grand scheme of things in America, it's hardly anyone. It is still a minority, but I think these things are on the rise. But it's just the fact that I don't think if Louis tried to do it here, it would be so easy to make it in the grand scheme as it was there in America. And the worrying thing that these people had these views and weren't really afraid to share them openly, racist, misogynist, and anti-Semitic, and lots of other discriminative views. It just makes you so sad that why is the world going backwards? Why aren't we seeing that we're all human beings and that we all should be working together as one, and not trying to segregate and make ourselves in these small little boxes, and we can't see outside this box, and we're afraid of other human beings, basically. Anyway, take care, take it easy, your best. Peace.